going to have a sophomore slump of any, because I think he's got a full year of tape on him, and I don't think he's going to be nearly as good as he was.
Well, as Dak Prescott said, he said, I have a full year of tape on them as well. That was his response to somebody saying that, and that's what I like to hear. I don't see a sophomore slump this year for Dak because of the offensive line. I think he has too much time in the pocket. I just think he has too much time in the pocket to make those stupid mistakes. I wish
I knew what that was like.
Say it again?
I wish I knew what a good offensive line was like.
Hey. Oh, you'll get there. But yeah, we'll see. I'm excited to see. I'm not excited. I wish I didn't have to see it, but we'll see how Dak does without Zeke. I know everybody said Zeke made Dak, or the offensive line made Dak. But I'd like to see how Dak does with Darren McFadden obviously leaving a ton of yards on the field like he always does.
Darren McFadden is going to find the bench very soon, and Alfred Morris is going to have a career resurgence and rush for 1,000 yards in 6 weeks.
Jesus. I like that.
Yeah, have fun with it. I wish he was still a Redskin. I miss you, Alf. I miss you a lot. Oof. Okay. All right. Is it time?
Yikes.
Okay. All right. Moving on to your Washington Redskins. The perennial powerhouse in the NFC East went 8-7 and went 8-7-1. Finished third last year. Thanks for that extra one there, Cincinnati and London. We had a lot of moves.
Yep.
Biggest one that got the most publicity, obviously, was signing Terrell Pryor. We also added linebacker Stacey McGee, linebacker DN, depends how you use him in the 3-4, Terrell McClain, safety DJ Swearinger, voted as a captain after being on the team for 2 months, 3 months.
Yeah.
Then in the draft, I think they had a very good draft. I enjoyed the draft. First pick, wonderful pick.
Amazing.
The best pick. It was the best pick that I've ever seen. It was the best pick. It was the steal of the draft. Yep. Jonathan Allen in the first round. Then in the second round, we got another Bama product, Ryan Anderson. In the third round, we picked up corner Fabian Moro. And in the fourth round, Samaje Perine to come in with as RB2, RB3, who knows. A lot of our significant departures were actually off the field. GM Scott McLuhan, gone.
Terrible situation.
DC Joe Barry, gone. And offensive coordinator Sean McVay, gone. We also, of course, lost our top two weapons at wide receiver, Pierre Garçon and Deshaun Jackson. But Corey, why don't you go ahead and just give me your early take on the Redskins here.
Well, if I have a knee-jerk reaction from the preseason, I'm not thinking highly of the Redskins. But I won't do that because I know what we're capable of. I know we needed a full preseason and training camp to get used to Jay Gruden calling the plays, because that, I think, is going to turn out to be the biggest problem with the Redskins, is switching from Sean McVay, which we were talking about it earlier, how Sean McVay is basically losing half our offense. And I said full because you having to switch the entire playbook. I'm sure it's exact same, but it's just a little bit different in the way Jay Gruden calls plays. Biggest question mark with me, just like the other teams in this NFC East, is, besides the Cowboys, is the run game. Can Rob Kelly really take off here in the second year? If not, do we have enough potential in the backfield to take over? Because that's what we need to set up Kirk more than anything.
Honestly, I think we have the running backs. Yeah. I think it's a question of our line not being a run-blocking line. Mm-hmm. Trent Williams, obviously one of the best left tackles in the league,
right? Year
in, year out.
Yep.
He's as good a pass blocker as you could ask for. The dude is not great at opening up holes for running backs.
Right.
The right side of our line, again, better pass blockers than run blockers. Morgan Moses, Sheriff, because I think they had to work so much with Sheriff, however you say his name,
sure, yeah.
And
Sheriff in town,
moving him from tackle to guard, working so much with him in pass protection that I don't know if he's just. Honestly, I don't even know if he was a good run blocker in college. It's hard to tell in college because the splits are so wide.
Yeah.
The run game is a lot different in college.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not that great of a line to run the ball behind.
Right. Except for the stretch.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing.
That's what we were made for.
When we ran those zone stretch plays and everything. When it was a zone scheme, it was basically, look, you try to block this guy, and if you all are doing this, there will be a hole that opens up somewhere because one of you got pushed back or something like that. And that Alfred Morris was perfect in that scheme of being a one-cut back. Yeah. Running a power scheme right now, Rob Kelly is a power back. I mean, if there's a sliver of light to go through, he's going to hit that hole and he's going to pick up 4 or 5 yards. But the problem is those holes, I mean, it pissed me off, and it makes Rob Kelly look bad because he just runs into his offensive line. Yeah. Well, that's because there's supposed to be a hole there. The play is designed for there to be a hole for him to go through, or at least plug through and pick up a little bit of positive yardage. Right. So when I watch him run straight into, Sheriff's back, and that's really more on Sheriff and the other offensive linemen around him than it is on Rob Kelly. He's not being told to bounce it outside. He's being told to shove it down the defense's throat. The problem is he can't even get to the defense. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think our running game is going to be a big question mark. It helps to have Chris Thompson as a change of pace to be a pass catching back. But that's the problem is that becomes our only run game is Thompson, Kelly if he can ever hold on to a ball coming out of the backfield. Right. We treat short passes as basically our run game. Yeah. The problem is Kirk is great with the play action. I mean, I think Kirk's at his best when he can establish the run play action, get to that back foot, and just fire off something over the seam. Skins had the most success running crossing routes over the middle. That's where Jordan Reed's at his best. That's where Crowder is shiftiest, and that's where we have success. Yeah. So it concerns me because Kirk's production is, I mean, for him to be really productive, not just this is a shootout and we have to pass, so let's light up the scoreboard while the other team lights up the scoreboard, or they know that we're down by 20 points, so they know we're passing, and he throws 40, 50 balls a game. Yeah, he's going to put up numbers that way, but for him to truly be effective, you got to establish that run game early, and I don't know if we have the line to do it right now. Want to talk a little bit about our wide receivers, though?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, I think we kind of hit on it together off and on through our days. I think our wide receivers actually got better, losing D-Jax and Pierre Garçon. I think we're going to miss Garçon more than we miss D-Jax. D-Jax is hurt half the year anyway. But Garçon was a guy, you could throw it to him anywhere. He'd catch it and he'd run hard. I love those kind of guys. Now, Terrell Pryor, big guy, 6'4", 6'5", 6'3", maybe. That's Josh Doxson. Having that size on the outside, please don't throw fades in the red zone or goal line situations. But
we're going to throw a lot of fades.
That's all we're going to do. I've been seeing reports for the past week that Josh Doxson's been finally practicing, and that's all we're throwing. Please don't do that. But just having that size and speed, because they both can run vertical. Terrell Pryor's definitely a downfield threat, and I know Josh Doxson, the few plays that he was in last year, he caught that 150-yard pass or whatever he did against. I think that was week 1, actually. I'm not really completely sure. But I do think we're going to get better from that situation. Jamison Crowder is going to be the best wide receiver on our team. I know you love him.
I love me some Jamison clam chowder.
And Jordan Reed, obviously, I think he is developing, if not already, the best tight end in the NFC East and all of the NFL. Gronk, of course, we know about Gronk.
When healthy.
Yeah. And he just doesn't stay. I guess I can say that about Jordan Reed, too, because he's not always healthy as well. But I'm pretty excited to see that. We know what Kirk Cousins is capable of from the quarterback position. I think he's one of the more consistent quarterbacks in the NFL. It's just whether or not he can come up with those big game scenarios where, like against the Giants, like you said last year, he kind of choked in that game, as well as the Panthers. But that was more so our defense. We let the Panthers destroy us on Monday night when we had a chance to clinch a playoff berth. But yeah, as far as wide receivers go, I think we're going to improve.
I mean, having Josh Doxson back healthy, basically, it's another first-round pick. Yeah. We're adding another first-round pick to our roster this year. It's like we had 2 first-round picks.
Right.
Nobody knows if he's going to be able to stay healthy because of his history. Every time he tweaks anything, everybody's going to be scared. And the staff the coaching staff is probably going to treat him like he's made of glass because that's kind of
what he is.
What he's demonstrated.
Right now, yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, I really like our receiving core. I think you hit on it. Having Pierre Garçon was great because he was somebody who you could match up one-on-one, man-to-man coverage, and you knew that even if he was covered, he was going to find his way to get his hands on the ball, and he was going to reel it in.
Physical.
But yeah, let's flip over to the... well, Brady, do you have any comments on the Redskins offense first?
Yeah, I think the biggest loss of the Redskins offseason was losing McVay outside of, you could argue, McCoughlin. Is it McCoughlin or McLaughlin?
McCoughlin.
Right?
No, McCoughlin. Yeah.
Nailed it. Yeah, I think
it's McLuhan.
I hate you. Oh, McLuhan. Sure. Yeah, I think losing McVay was huge for that offense. McVay is one of the best young offensive minds in the league. Reminds me a lot of Shanahan a little bit, or Shanny, my boy.
Kyle?
Yeah, Kyle.
Yeah.
I think he's going to do great things with Hoyer, believe it or not. But, yeah, I think the Redskins' season depends on Jay Gruden's ability to keep Kirk in his comfort zone with play calling. And they have to kind of, I don't know, you know what I'm saying? They just kind of have to get their shit together because they obviously didn't have it together in the preseason. It's going to be really interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah. Yep, I agree. Couldn't agree more about McVay. That guy is one of the best offensive minds in football. All right, Corey, defense.
Defense. All right, I'm going to go from D-line to linebackers to secondary. I believe the D-line is going to be, well, I guess those are more linebackers. D-line's going to be questionable.
It's confusing with the 3-4.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. It's really, yeah. D-line's going to be questionable for the most part, I believe, because we're going to rely on guys like Ziggy Hood, which I just don't think Ziggy Hood's a guy he's just old. I just don't think he can clog up the middle. Jonathan Allen's going to be a great surprise. Well, not a surprise. What am I saying? 17th overall pick. We know what Jonathan Allen's going to be able to do. He's a big-time star. He was actually in the Heisman race for the most part of last year, so that shows you what kind of a playmaker he is off of the D-line. Losing Phil Taylor is going to hurt a little bit because he had a great preseason, great story, great comeback story, and then all of a sudden he got hurt with his quad. But I think Jonathan Allen will be a workhorse for us, and he'll do everything we need. We need more pressure. We've never gotten pressure from that nose tackle position. Chris Baker did a pretty good job, but I think we need more of that athleticism that'll get by a couple of defenders because I'm sure Jonathan Allen will be double-teamed at some point this year when he proves himself. But what's really going to strengthen us on the defensive side is hopefully, knock on wood, Junior Gillette being healthy at the linebacker position and Ryan Anderson coming in. But he seems to already have an injury bug with his stinger. What stinger lasts a month? I don't understand that whole thing. But Ryan Kerrigan getting some protection from Gillette on one side, Jonathan Allen in the middle. I think Kerrigan's going to have the biggest year of his career. Signing Zach Brown as the Mo, not the Mike, because Mason Foster's being the Mike. But having Zach Brown, which one of our biggest issues on the defensive side, we have never, ever been able to cover a running back on a swing pass or a tight end. And Zach Brown's coming in to do that only because he's one of the most athletic linebackers in the NFL. He runs like a 4.43 or something ridiculous out of the linebacker position. So that's going to strengthen our defense. Now, it's going to sound like we're going to be a great defense. I don't know if we are. But Mason Foster, big-time run stopper from the middle linebacker position, which is amazing to have because he's not afraid to dive in there and just kill some running backs. Secondary, I thought it was going to be as deep as it's ever been until Sua Craven's situation happened. Now I'm starting to not really be sure of that safety position, but DJ Swearinger, of course, we know what he's capable of. He's the captain. He's going to be a leader out there. He's going to hit a lot of people, and he's going to really ball hawk. He's just an overall great safety. Our cornerback position has gotten deeper. Obviously, you know Breland and Josh Norman. And then you got Fabian Moreau, which Scott McLuhan, I've seen a lot of his tweets. Huge fan of him, which to me, whenever McLuhan says something good about a player, he's good.
Yeah, because he's a player developer. Yeah. I mean, he's a scout at heart.
Right.
That's really what he's best at.
And then apparently Fuller, which I'm not going to buy in on Fuller, but apparently he's made the biggest improvement on our defensive side until he proves that, because all he does is get burnt.
And get picks.
Yeah, that's all I will care about.
He's D-Hall 2.0.
Yeah, so And then getting D Hall back in 6 weeks.
Oh yeah, D Hall's gonna be back. He's gonna